What's his forty?
I don't know for sure. He's pretty competitive. He has good competitive speed. They used to talk a lot about Hartley Dykes being a 4.6 guy, but he never got caught in space. His competitive speed was really good. I think Ollie has really good competitive speed. I think he feels guys coming behind him, and he kind of weaves and takes off and goes pretty good. The one advantage he does have, he doesn't have that burst from 10, 15 feet, but he's a big strider when he gets in the open field. So they kind of have a hard time getting him from behind. I'm not sure what he runs, but his competitive speed's pretty good.
Mike, after the first half, they had 258 yards of offense. They ended up with 184 in the second half, but at one point early in the fourth quarter, they only had 90. What did you see from your defense in the second half?
Well, they made some adjustments in the way that we were handling the running game. They got us on the inside, on the old school lead zone in the first half, and we missed some tackles again. I think looked like to me we missed 5 or 6 tackles, and we didn't miss any really in the second half. The first half we did. We had guys in position, they just didn't make the play. But we made an adjustment on their lead zone concept, and it helped us out. And then we were able to pressure the quarterback in the second half and make a big difference.
Mike, I know you don't want to give away the secrets, but in terms of what you guys changed offensively to start opening those creases, is there anything you can kind of tell us that worked?
It's not really anything serious. It's just concept scheme-wise, and using pullers in a little bit different way. I mean, it's not anything that's complicated, or it's not like it's a secret. It's just the way they were playing us. They came in with a lot more line movement than what they had shown in the first 7 games, or how many games they played, 6, whatever. And I'm sure it's because I'm not sure. My guess is because they're trying to find ways to slow Ollie down in the running game. And so they had some decent line stunts and some twisting things, and some backers coming over the top. So we kept with our gap schemes and zone schemes, and we just kind of tightened them up a little bit to where we knew exactly what we wanted to do and didn't worry about the wide guys. And so it allowed us to have some creases in the middle. Most of the creases in the second half were in the B gap or the A gap. And that's kind of what we wanted to do based on some of the stuff they did to slow our running game down, in my opinion.
It looked like Leon was on track to redshirt. Was that the plan, and has that changed now that he has a night like tonight and you guys are a little thin at that position?
Well, he needs to play. We're down some receivers right now. Until we get everybody back, I don't know when that'll be. We got to play. We don't have a lot of depth at that position right now.
Did he surprise you at all with what he was able to do today?
I think that's a fair comment. I felt like he would play really good, but I'm not going to say I thought that he would step up the first time and go for 150. So I think surprise is pleasantly kind of surprised. But he's always practiced well, and I mean, you have to give him credit. One thing that's difficult for college players to do is to stay engaged and practice hard and compete when you think, on Saturday, I might not get to play that much, right? That's hard. We talk to the players about that all the time, that you never know when you're going to get to play, but it's still hard to tell a guy, hey, I need you to grind, I need you to bust it in practice, I need you to watch extra tape, I need you to do all these things. Oh, and you might not get to play very much. And he's done a good job of that. And when we needed him at West Virginia, he stepped up and made, he helped us, and then he practiced all week and played well today. That's a real challenge for young people nowadays to understand the commitment it takes, even though if you might not think you're going to get to play very much on Saturday.
Is it harder because you're so deep in the season, but you need him, but you want to say, man, if you could save him from next year and get more out of him? Is that into your thought?
Well, we didn't have to make that decision. The decision was made for us. We just got to play. We were down 3 wideouts in this game. We lost Scribbling a few weeks ago. And I mean, we're down 3 of our starting 4 wide receivers we started the season with. So we had to have other guys step up and play, and he's the next guy to step up and make some plays.
Mike, in Wednesday's November, and you're in first place, you have to change. You don't have to change, but do you have a different kind of feeling about what this team can achieve and its upside?
Yeah, I mean, it's week to week. I mean, I don't need to repeat myself, and the parity across college football, this league's no different. You have to practice well and prepare well, and you gotta play well, try to minimize turnovers, and play good on special teams, give yourself a chance to win. And I think that, as I said, college football is moving forward now. We've turned into the NFL, and it's gonna be week to week, and fortunately, our guys have played good over the last 4 or 5 weeks. They believe in themselves. They're practicing very well. I don't have to say anything to them. They have a high level of enthusiasm and energy, which has become contagious. So good things are happening. And as long as they'll stay humble, stay hungry, and not expect anything, they'll have a chance to compete and play well in all the games, in my opinion. But if you go the other way, and I just mentioned that to the team, if you start to swing the other way and for some reason think you don't have to practice as hard, or maybe you're a little bit sore or tired and I'm not gonna practice Tuesday, I'm gonna come back, and it doesn't work that way. I've seen it for 35 years. You have to practice hard every day. If you're injured, you're injured. It's the difference between being injured and hurt. If you're hurt, you gotta practice hard, and you have to expect results through the week to play well on Saturday. And I know that sounds like coaches talk, but that's just the way it is.
Then in the first half, Ollie fumbles and he goes to sideline, he throws his helmet down. He's obviously frustrated. You go over and talk to him. What do you kind of tell him there, and what's the conversation with a guy that's still a younger guy in the locker room, but he's had the experience, has the bunch of maturity we talked about. What do you kind of tell him in that moment?
So Ollie wants to perform well for everybody all the time, like we all do, right? We all want to do good, and then people tell us that we're doing good, and that human nature is we like that. And he now, everywhere he goes, people chant his name. Goes to homecoming last night, they chant his name. Walks off the field today, they chant his name. There's a lot of pressure involved in that, and he's a very prideful young man. And that's good. But what I shared with him is, I've been around the greatest running backs to ever play this game. None of them did that. They all learn to keep their composure. There's times that they don't play as well. There's times they make a mistake. And if he wants to play this game for a long time, then he'll learn to keep composure. Because all that's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy, it's a waste of effort, and it becomes negative for the football team. And that's what I told him. And I said, it's a choice you make, not me. It's our team and your career. Our team and your career, your choice. But that is going to get you nowhere. That is not going to get us anywhere. So the 6 or 8 or 10 backs I've been around that are really, 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 really good, and 2 of them or 3 of them that are best ever, don't do that. And so he had a choice to make then. He can get mad at me and sulk, feel sorry for himself and try to make a statement, or he can say, I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm going to do better. That's the choices that he has to make at that particular time.
And
Either way, it's his choice.
And how did you see him kind of progress the rest of the game? Obviously,
He said, Coach, I apologize, I'll do better. And I said, I'm glad to see that. That means we're going to be better, and then you're going to be better for the rest of your career. And that's what he chose to do.
Having 2 back-to-back 300-yard rushing games, how's that changed the entire profile from your perspective of what you feel like you can achieve moving forward?
Say it again.
Ollie had 2 near back-to-back 300 yards rushing in your offense, rushing well the last 2 games. How's that really change your profile moving forward? What you feel like you can accomplish now as you go through the rest of the season?
Well, obviously we're able to run the ball effectively now over the last 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. Prior to that, we couldn't run it or lick. So we're getting a little bit better at running the ball. We're covering people up, and we're a little more physical. Our backs running physical. It's nice to get 24 in there tonight. Elijah did a nice job running. So success is contagious, and now they all think they can run good behind our line, and they're getting some creases. And when you start to do things like that, it works out well for you and helps you in the long run. But I'll go back to what I said earlier now. It's only if we practice well this week. We're not good enough to not practice well and then perform well on Saturday. We're not that good.
Is this what you envisioned the offensive line back in the spring? I remember you talked about, you thought you had 8 guys, you thought could play. Is this what you envisioned them doing? The offensive line?
Well, in the spring and in August, the one thing I said to you guys, we're better at running the ball than we were last year. But that doesn't say much. We could be real average and be better than we were last year. But I told you we were better than we were. I don't know how far along, but I said I know we're better. The strides we've made over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think, it's fair to say it surprised all of us. But they have practiced really, really hard, and we have condensed the responsibilities they have, and repetition has made them better. And then fortunately, our backs are seeing things, and it's just kind of become contagious and get a little bit better at it every week.
How'd you think Bowman played?
I thought he played pretty good. He fired a couple of 3 balls in there that makes me nervous. 17, 34, too. I mean, he threw 1 interception, right? Threw the ball behind it, got tipped. Was it 1 interception? But he got the ball to open receivers. You know, I mean, he's 6 feet. And they're working on it. He slides and shuffles at times that he doesn't need to. And that's kind of when he gets in trouble. But overall, he handled things fairly well, in my opinion.
Mike, there's not many games in college football now. The starting quarterback only completes 6 passes. How'd you do it today?
So what now?
I mean, the starting quarterback for Cincinnati only completed 6 passes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
How'd you do that?
How did we do it?
Yeah.
Well, they were running the ball good in the first half. They didn't need to throw a pass. And I think they, again, I'm just guessing. When I watched the first quarter, they came in with a defensive plan to not let us rush the ball, and their offensive plan was to use the clock by